BJJ report. And like I said there, the birth, looking for gum. Sometimes there's some, sometimes there's none. BJJ report. I mean, I was so excited just to pop on and say hey to everybody. BJJ report that I almost forgot to take some notes on today's class. Thank you to Joe for teaching today. Standing in for Trusted Jay. And thank you for Andrew being I think it's Andrew, who was the only other classmate in there today. Look, all kinds of things going on. We're celebrating in the United States of America, like I said, the birth of a nation. I know we're celebrating tomorrow, but the festivities have already begun. No matter which direction you go, we got all kinds of traffic here, and you know, people are gonna be headed to see families. They're gonna be headed to see events, fireworks and whatnot. Zach, what's going on? And we, you hear people like, kind of laugh about the United States of America. You hear people kind of like, oh, you're really living in a prison, and you hear like, oh, all kinds of things and the past of what this nation was founded on, I think is really what's glossed over. Really what's glossed over is the fact that we had a bunch of people who wanted to live in a certain way, and they were in a culture, in a place that was not allowing them to practice their religion and believe and have and hold their beliefs and have the freedom not just of thoughts and religions, but of voice, to be able to speak out without having to live in fear. And they risked their lives. They risked their families. They risked their lives. They did what they believed in. First of all, in just founding this nation, and Mayflower and all those other guys getting over here. Ben, what's up? The fact is, we had a whole bunch of people who had a greater vision for this country than a lot of times that we uphold. And the vision is for people to believe what they want to believe, to think what they want to think, to act in accordance with their own wishes, and to not always have to give in to the mainstream. And even though that happens, there's still so many people out there that you'll see, I can't believe this person said this, or I can't believe that person. Why not? Why can't you believe that person said this or feels that way? What's so hard? What's the distance and thought process that it takes to get there? Why is it so hard to believe that somebody thinks in a certain way? Can't say that I would ever understand it, but it's not hard to believe that somebody's thinking totally different than I would ever think, right? And that's the beauty of this country, is that there's so many diverse ways of thinking and being it. To be a radical, you really gotta try, and then some. You gotta go over the top of the top of the top of the top of the top. I mean, damn, we had the movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. Anybody remember that? Just me in the 80s. That's cool. You gotta be so far beyond, that you can't find. If you can't find like 5 or 6 people that believe in what you're saying in a relatively close proximity, then maybe so you're not crazy, but maybe you've got something that's radical then. And if you're so far out there, and if you're that radical, you live in a country where you might land a TV show for that kind of thing, right? That might be the exact thing that the world is looking for. You might be what the world is looking for, and it's not that far removed. And so that's, our country was founded with that vision of people allowed to have their voice, being allowed to and not being allowed to. I saw somebody posting about, I guess, a Congress, right? Like Congress as being like an honorary position, and to be allowed to carry the voice for the people, like elected officials. That's a privilege to and an honor, a distinction to be charged with carrying the voice of the public. And I don't know if that's still so true, but that's the idea. That's the gist of it. And so, yeah, man, you got to celebrate that. You got to celebrate a place where you can go and there all kinds of cultures are meshed together, and you can learn from them. You have the opportunity. You have the choice. You have the freedom of choice to attend the church of your wishes. The freedom of choice to go to a restaurant that is not, purely United States food. Which, I mean, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as like an indigenous food per se, outside of like the indigenous, population that's all been wiped off, because of European brethren. But listen, that wasn't us. That wasn't like us by choice. So we got to live in the here and now and be able to appreciate what has developed and what we have access to. And that's the type of thing that I celebrate when 4th of July comes through. That's the type of thing that when somebody says, hey, I gave my, I lost a leg, I participated in this war, or I participated in that battle, because those are some other people that believe enough in an idea of this country and what it stands for that they're willing to give their lives up for. And that's what it's like to live in an amazing country. And so, yeah, happy 4th, guys, and that's brought to you by the BJJ report. Is like I said, I kind of walked out of there today. I was just excited, feeling that for the celebration that's coming up here, and I'm also I get excited because we going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's easy for me to access, and we live in a country where we have access to that at just like awesome times of the day, 6 a.m., noon, 5, and all this accessibility to these things. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Spain. He goes, man, I really wish that I was able to go to a gym, but they're only open during business hours. They're only open during business hours, so he can't go. Like, he doesn't have it. We got a Planet Fitness. Some people may laugh at Planet Fitness because you can get bagels and pizza and Tootsie Rolls there. But guess what? You can also go work out there 24/7. We take it for granted because it's always around us, but if we take a look around and we see all of the things that we got and all the things that we have access to, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I mean, I talk about the things that we have access to when I talk to the Fatherhood for the Rest of Us group. When I talk to the Fatherhood for the Rest of Us group, I'm like, guys, you have local resources. You don't have to confine yourself to this group of dudes behind a pane of glass and feel safe there. There's safety there, right? Absolutely. But there's also so much more camaraderie that's offered and available to you right out your doorstep. So, whatever it is you're into, I mean, I know I always go back to Fight Club for some reason, but in that movie, like, there were all the groups that they got, Marla and Ed Norton were attending, right? Like, I mean, all those things are accessible to you. I almost guarantee it. Like, even if you're out in the sticks, you're like an hour away from having access to something that really is awesome and amazing for you. I don't know, like, any other examples to give you, but it's all available, and it's almost always available 24/7 in this country. So it's almost like it's too accessible because it doesn't catch our attention. We're like, oh yeah, of course that's available, but it'll be available tomorrow. What happens if you go today? What happens if you participate in the life that's being offered to you? I don't know. But that's what gets me excited about being able to live in this country, about it being 4th of July, about there being a celebration of the Declaration of Independence, because we have all of these things. We have all these people who have made it possible in the past, who continue to make it possible for us today. And there's maybe like 3 or 4 people that 98% of the population doesn't agree with. Well, guess what? Agree with the other 98% of the population. And just agree with that. Don't disagree with like the 5 people that piss you off all day long. What about the 95 that you get along with? They're a lot more fun to be with, and you don't have to try and change them. They don't even matter in the grand scheme for you, in the duration of your life and what you're gonna do. You can rail against those 5 people, or you can enjoy everything else that's being provided for you. And as soon as you take your attention off the people that are annoying you and pissing you off and aggravating you and looking at all the other things that you have available, those people, they become like these voices in just like yesteryear voices, right? Ghosts of Christmas past, all right? And you get to live like a great celebration. So that's it, guys. That's my BJJ report, and I hope that you are enjoying this freedom that you have in the United States of America, and the bounty and the riches and all the abundance, all of that jazz, because that's the nation we live in. All right, now I'm out of here.